What's up, crew? It's Chris with CloverTac, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at and comparing the Uberti Cattleman single action revolver to the Armi Jager Dakota single action revolver. If you're wondering about the similarities and the differences of these two revolvers, well, stick around. If you're new to the channel here on CloverTac, we talk about all things firearm related. So if you're into that sort of thing, jump down and smash that subscribe button below. And if you want to stay up to date on all the new content, well, go ahead and click that notification bell as well. So here we are. We're taking a look at the Uberti Cattleman single action revolver and the Armi Jager Dakota single action revolver. We're going to talk about the similarities first, and then we'll get to those differences. Before we jump into that, I'm going to just do a quick safety check here. Does not hurt to make double sure everything is safe and clear. And we are good on both of these. So let's get into the similarities here. Both of these obviously single action revolvers. That means you have to pull the hammer back in order for it to fire. You can't make the hammer move just by pulling the trigger. Now, another thing that is a similarity dealing with, of course, cocking it and the hammer is you've got three stages on both of these. You've got one real short click right there. Then you've got the half cock. Then you've got the full cock. And that's the same on both of these. The little short cock, that's going to be a safety cock. We'll go over that here in a little bit when we get into the differences, because the way that actually works is just a little bit different. But as far as half cock, that's how you release the cylinder on this revolver. You've got to go into half cock in order for that cylinder to turn. And what that means is in order to load or unload the revolver, you have to put it into half cock. Obviously full cock, that means you're ready to just pull the trigger and make them fire. Now, even though the two examples we have utilize different cartridges, they are both 6-shot cylinders, and those cylinders rotate clockwise. As far as your sighting set up on these, typical single action cowboy action with a gutter sight or frame sight in the back with a really tall front blade. And this one, same exact design. Finally, on the similarities here, talk about the frames just a little bit. You can tell by looking. Frame design, pretty close to exactly the same. Both of these specimens here are actually case hardened, but there's various finishes and stuff like that that were available. Both Uberti and Armi Jager produced a variety of different frames, but you can see they're pretty much copying that original Colt single action Army design. As far as the differences go, the Uberti Cattleman here chambered for 4440. The Armi Jager Dakota chambered, this specimen anyway, for 45 long Colt. And both manufacturers, again, they produced models in various calibers. Now the 45 Colt and the 4440, very similar cartridges. The 45 Colt introduced in 1872, 4440 in 1873. So a quick question of the day for everybody out there. I'd like to know what your favorite cowboy cartridge is. Go ahead, jump down in the comments below. Let me know. Now there is a difference here with these two specimens in barrel length. Got a 4 3/4 inch on the Dakota, got a 5.5 inch on the Uberti Cattleman. That's going to contribute to the weight. With the longer barrel, the Uberti Cattleman comes in somewhere around 35, 36 ounces, and the Armi Jager Dakota, obviously with a little bit shorter barrel, going to come in somewhere around that 32 ounce range. It's important to note when we're talking about barrel length that both of these companies produced revolvers with various barrel lengths. Now, both of these use a base pin style safety, and what that does is that blocks the hammer. It keeps it from dropping all the way down when fired, and that means that firing pin cannot come in contact with the primer in the cartridge in the cylinder to make that round go off. Now what you're going to do on the Armi Jager to engage that safety, is you're going to go back to that first click on the hammer, going to push in on this little button right here, and you'll rotate this pin around. That'll engage the hammer safety. Now, the Uberti Cattleman works similar but different. You've got a set screw here on the frame. You'll back that up. You'll actually push in on the pin, then tighten the set screw back down, and that's what engages that hammer safety. And speaking of hammers, we can tell that while it's really close, there is definitely a different style of hammer design going on. Same goes for the grip. If we look here, we've got way more of a pronounced curve. It almost curves back under on the Dakota, whereas the Cattleman drops off more smooth on the front side of the grip. Now, for those of you that are still with me on this bench review, I'm sure you're curious about the triggers on both of these. Being single action revolvers, any single action revolver, the trigger is typically pretty nice because you're not having to deal with the weight of that mainspring, which is attached to the hammer. Interestingly enough, the Uberti Cattleman has the smoothest action. So the hammer pulls back really smooth. The cylinder rotates really smooth. It feels really good. However, the Armi Jager Dakota actually has the lighter trigger pull, the lighter single action trigger pull. The Armi Jager Dakota comes in somewhere around 3 pounds on average with the trigger pull, whereas the Uberti Cattleman here comes in somewhere more around the 4-pound range. So there you go, crew. A little look at the similarities and differences between the Armi Jager Dakota and the Uberti Cattleman. As always, if you want to continue the conversation, you can do that down in the comments below. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. And until next time, don't forget to chain fire freedom.